Matilda, I've always loved antiquing. There's something mystical about old objects with untold stories from decades past, finding new life with a different owner. So when I discovered Mills Antique Emporium on a side street near my new condo, I knew I had to explore inside. The little shop was crammed floor to ceiling with artifacts, some coated in layers of dust, betraying their age. As I brushed cobwebs from a weathered porcelain doll, the elderly owner emerged from the back room. "Can I help you find something special?" the woman asked with kindness in her eyes that offset the shop's creepiness. "I'm just looking, thanks, but you have an incredible collection here." I worked my way through the arrays of musty furniture, ornamental silverware, and stacks of 8-track cassettes before halting abruptly at a sight towering alongside a bookshelf. An oval-shaped gilt antique mirror in an exquisitely carved frame loomed above me, its glass oddly dark. "Ah, I see you've spotted Matilda," the owner noted. "Legend has it she belonged to a duchess back in England before making her way here over a century ago. Been with me for 5 decades now. But I must warn you, some say Matilda contains a malevolence from long ago." My skin tingled at the ominous tale, but my curiosity only grew about the bewitching relic as I inspected its subtle Gothic details. "Tell you what, I feel it's time Matilda found a new home. I'll part with her if you truly desire it, but mind my words about objects carrying energy from the past. $50 and she's yours." Perhaps I should have interpreted the low price as a red flag that there was something amiss. But I couldn't let such a unique piece slip away as I dug for my wallet and accepted the owner's help loading Matilda's weighty frame into my car. Unwrapping the mirror back in my condo's spare bedroom, I wondered if a good cleaning would restore any glint to its time-worn glass. As I wiped away the dust with an old cloth, my reflection suddenly shone through. But the face staring back seemed slightly off, skinnier with eyes I didn't recognize. I shook off the oddity as a trick of changing angles. Over the next week, however, glimpses of myself in Matilda while passing by the room brought further unease. My jawline appeared sharper, my blonde hair tinged red, my stare a bit too intense. But still I laughed it off until a more jarring shift occurred. Arranging books on the shelf one afternoon, my head turned reflexively towards the mirror, and I froze in disbelief. Then terror seized me. The woman reflected back was not me at all. Yellow eyes peered from sunken sockets in a pallid, spectral face framed by wispy white hair. Her lips curled into a snarling grin, revealing rotten fangs, as she maintained her piercing gaze directly through the glass, staring not at, but into me. Panicked, I grabbed the nearest book and flung it forcefully, shattering Matilda's pain into shards across the hardwood floor. As I cleaned my bloodied fingers from the smash's aftermath, my mind swirled, questioning my sanity. Had Matilda truly reflected that ghoulish specter, or was I going mad? The creaks and moans of my old condo at night kept me tossing in bed, wondering if I was now haunted from destroying Matilda's portal. The dreams began a week later. I found myself wandering through an elegant candlelit hallway, lined with oil paintings of regal men and women long deceased. My lace gown trailed behind me across the worn carpets, leading towards 2 imposing wooden doors. As they swung open, my stomach knotted, recognizing the spare bedroom from my condo, but transformed into a lavish suite decorated in deep burgundies and emeralds. Approaching the dressing table's carved chair, I halted, as the ghostly visage I had seen in the mirror weeks before now occupied the seat staring back. Her yellow eyes followed me as her thin arm raised, beckoning me to come closer. Against my will, I felt my legs carry me ahead until we stood face to face and her gnarled hand clasped around my wrist. An electric chill shot through my body as the hag pulled me violently into the glass, where ripples swallowed me into a void of darkness. I woke drenched in icy sweat, heart pounding wildly to escape my chest. As daylight flooded in to dissolve the haunting midnight visions, I tried convincing myself it was merely another nightmare, until my eyes lowered to glimpse my right wrist sporting a distinct handprint bruise that lingered for weeks. Matilda had not finished with me yet. The ghastly dreams invaded my sleep relentlessly over the next month. I wandered nightly through those dim passages lined by the judging eyes of the long-dead nobles towards the waiting succubus. Her grip tightened each time as she dragged me across the permeable mirror into realms of swirling shadows. I desperately sought rational explanations. Stress, optical illusions, overactive imagination. But logic failed to alleviate the enveloping sense of lurking horror that permeated my days and consumed my nights. I even considered moving away to escape. That notion was shattered one cool autumn afternoon while raking leaves in my small backyard. The gentle breeze carried an unfamiliar voice that stopped me cold. A phlegmy rasp belongs to an old woman. Do you wish to know the truth about the mirror and why it haunts you so? Turning slowly, I dropped my rake, seeing before me the antique shop's owner, though she now appeared more bent with age. Settling into my living room, the woman recounted her tale under Matilda's lingering curse. The bewitched relic did indeed once belong to a duchess from an English castle in the early 1700s, which had been home to the noble Whitmore family for generations. Lady Isobel Whitmore had been regarded the greatest beauty in 7 counties, but she hid a wicked secret. Her vain obsession with youth and looks eventually drove her to killing peasant girls in occult rituals to drain their blood. As Isobel aged against her will, she descended deeper into madness, trying desperately to reclaim the fading, radiant reflection of her younger years. On her deathbed, the bitter duchess used the last of her energy to infuse her oval dressing mirror with a powerful hex. Any young woman peering into its glass would now see Isobel's vengeful spirit staring back as she prepared to forcibly take their souls and regain her lost beauty through their mortal forms. Over 3 centuries, dozens of girls have mysteriously gone missing or died soon after purchasing Matilda, their life essence consumed by the greedy banshee trapped within, the woman rasped. You are the latest to open the spirit doorway and let the vile Isobel in, but we still have time to stop her. Though the tale seemed ludicrous, I could not deny the escalating nightmares and bruises betraying this was no ordinary mirror. I listened intently as she laid out an elaborate ritual found in one of Isobel's spellbooks that could seal Matilda for good. It involved collecting arcane ingredients for a potion on the night of a full moon when mystical energies would be strongest. As I assembled pungent sprigs of wormwood and flakes of graveyard dirt into a copper bowl etched with runes, skepticism crept back at performing witch's magic. But watching the potion ignite into divine blue flame that bathed the room in lavender haze snuffed out any doubt. I recited the sealing incantation provided, hearing it echo as if 3 voices now chanted in unison. Silence blanketed the space as I ladled the potion, still flickering ethereally onto Matilda's fractured glass. An ear-splitting shriek pierced the room, leaving my ears ringing painfully. When I wiped the magical elixir from my eyes, Matilda's surface had transformed into a simple bathroom mirror, showing just my weary but relieved face staring back. The antique owner smiled knowingly through the wreaths of pungent smoke. I later learned she herself had been one of Isobel's victims in youth, discovering too late the Duchess's curse. My donation had lifted decades of guilt about passing Matilda on despite her warnings. Soon after, I had Matilda destroyed fully to prevent anyone else falling prey to her evil allure. Passing the neighborhood antique shop recently sent a reflexive chill down my spine before I caught sight of a for sale sign now hanging out front. Wherever the old woman has moved on to, I hope she has finally found peace. My dreams remain entirely my own, for now at least. But I've grown wary of peering too closely at my reflection in case Isobel's snarling visage decides to pay me one final visit from beyond the grave.